I wasn't recording at all. Girl, I was like 20 minutes in. Oh my God. I don't even know what I said. I got a new mic, if you can see. I don't have to hold it. Really excited about that. I brought my journal. Not reading it to you. I've done that in the past. Psychotic Me did that. It was thankfully a very new journal. And you only got to hear about my love interest and qualms with my friends and thoughts and opinions about him, which was a gab. But trust me, you don't want to hear about this. This is literally what you hear now, just in more depth. Who wants that? Nobody. The reason I brought this out and the reason that I'm even acknowledging it is because as somebody who disassociates as much as I do, this is the only definitive way that I can show and express and to myself that I am checking in, that I am choosing to clock in, that I am choosing to be active, that I am choosing to like breathe. You're here, you're present, you're alive, you exist, you know? And when I do that, it literally calms me down. It puts me at ease. It makes me feel like even if things aren't okay, they're gonna eventually be. Because that's been my experience in life. They always, at some point or another, are not okay. But eventually, they are. To not be, to be, to not be, to be, to be. Blah, 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 blah. It's a cycle. It's a terrible, 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 terrible cycle. But the knots make the goods so much more worth it. Because when the sun's out, girl, and we're sunbathing, don't it just feel so good? Don't it just feel so nice? Don't it just feel so fresh? And I'm not gonna say this makes me forget the blues, but girl, what blues? I don't even remember the blues. What are we talking about? You know how they say that your mind like is wired to forget pain, and it literally is. You can tell me that I'm wrong, but you're wrong. It's how like you get hurt, and like within seconds, the pain starts to subside. I mean, if you chop your arm off, like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. You chopped your arm off. Oh. But a paper cut, in an hour, you're not going to feel that paper cut. You know what I mean? And I know that the closer I get to not feeling this, the closer I get to not feeling this, you know? And on a moment like right now, where the sun is out, I'm sitting here gabbing. Girl, we gabbing. Oh, you know I love me a good gab. And I literally just spent a couple hours doing homework. I don't work till 3 hours. I do close, and I feel some way about that. But it's okay. I only have a couple more days left in my standing position. I start my new job in 5 days. I have, I believe, 3 days left in my standing position. And I started school almost 10 days ago, 9 days ago. I'm in a like very like shifty transitional period. A lot is moving. A lot is moving. And I'm doing a-okay. Like as okay as I could be. You know what I mean? I Don't get me wrong. I bawled my eyes out, okay? Bawled my eyes out in the realization that I was going to take a step down. Bawled my eyes out. Bawled my eyes out and realizing that I was giving up. Bawled my eyes out and realizing that it wasn't in me. But, oh, sorry, girl. I'm up in your ear. I'm still processing what that is. But there's a couple things worth noting. The first being, there's going to be a lot less stress on me. Like a significant amount of less stress on me. So much so that over these last, week, 2 weeks, I have felt the pressure coming off. The day after having a meeting with my area director and deciding when my last day was, I literally woke up lighter. I went about my day, got my little coffee, and I was like, it was the best coffee I'd ever had. I'm gonna be honest with you. Why did it taste so good? I don't know. Um, I've shown up to work. I've done what I could do, and I'm gonna be honest. My steam energy and spirit have dwindled a little bit. I have felt that, but it's more so like I'm recharging, not like I'm down. And I can feel it. Don't worry. Let's talk about it. Um, when I started looking into school, there was the notion in my brain of, oh my God, this better not be a bipolar decision. Now, what is a bipolar decision? A bipolar decision is a tick you get in your head of an itch that suddenly feels right. And not only does it suddenly feel right, it is right. You can't tell me otherwise. And it's usually due to some sort of, I can't tell you what it's due to. I'm not a therapist or psychiatrist or medical professional. I can just tell you what it feels like. And these impulses that are very hard to control sometimes are just that. They're impulses. And as somebody who has lived life with these impulses that I've just out of nowhere felt and have followed through with very regularly, there's been times where I've looked at my life and been like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And girl, sometimes you do that because you have bipolar and you had a bipolar impulse. And we can look at the fact that I've weighed out my options, sat with them, and did the do, and be like, was that? It's very clearly not a bipolar decision. But I'm quitting my job, pursuing school, looking for a new job, and suddenly I'm feeling the sun on my skin and feeling optimistic. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. uh, I'm being vigilant. I'm being vigilant. I don't think I'm having a breakdown. I don't think I'm heading towards one. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. But I think that I have been told the signs, and I think that I need to be vigilant of what could happen. I woke up today and I felt good. I did my homework, and I'm gonna go get a little coffee. I'm sitting here doing my video. I'm gonna go to work. I don't feel overjoyous. I don't feel overzealous. I don't feel sexy. I mean, she always feels sexy. She does not always feel sexy. That's not. I do feel sexy. Um. So, who knows, girl? It might be. If it looks like a pig and walks like a pig, it might be a pig. But soft launch. I'm having another psychotic breakdown. I'm joking. I might not be. I'm sorry. This is how we're dealing with it. I'm sorry. Um, why I did come on here. What I missed. The 20 minutes of video that I filmed and got lost. R.I.B. Um, I started reading, and I do this so often. I'm so sorry. I started reading Anger. We talked about it, I believe, in my last video. My last check-in. I read the previous book, You Are Here, by the same author, Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a Buddhist monk. His first book, You Are Here, literally, oh, sorry, girl, literally, hitting me right in the heart with someone being as detached as I am, being called out on that. A little hard to take, but it was very nice. It was very nice. It was very refreshing. This one being about anger, I got about halfway done with the book, and then my life started taking a lot of turns, and I found it very difficult to read during that. I'm gonna continue to read it, but I found myself trying to read, and I was just reading the words, not processing it. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that to myself, and I'm not gonna do that to the book. I'm gonna read it when I have the ability to read it, and I'm not just gonna force read it. So I'm gonna take a break on this book, and I'm gonna finish it when it's appropriate and when I can. The parts of it that I did get to read were very enlightening. Um, very specifically the parts on how you confront others who have caused you anger. I had a situation where I felt hurt by a friend, a very dear friend of mine, and after reading half of this book, I approached it with the knowledge that I gained from this book, and it actually led to a very beautiful conversation and a very easily resolved problem. My friend and I are on very phenomenal terms, and I'm not going to say thank you to this book, but thank you to this book. The book that I chose for next month, I'm shifting gears. I'm going to be honest with you. I I am not somebody that's going to push anything down your throat. I am not. Other than the only thing that I will ever try to push down your throat is the fact that like you're the only one who is in charge of changing your life. And if you don't believe that, girl, get out of my face. With that specifically being said, I think that I am finally, and I say finally, so lightly, reaching that point in my depressive episode where it's starting to feel icky. Icky gross. Not that it doesn't feel icky gross all the time. But the way that I have said before is eventually in my depressive episodes, I choose to get up. And I said that lightly, and I say that lightly, and I will say that lightly until it's time to not say that lightly. And I think we're approaching that time where I don't say that lightly. And this can be the soft launch to that. Eventually, in time, your depression starts to feel gross. Okay? You look at yourself and you realize you haven't showered in a couple days and you're stinky. Okay? You look at your car and you see the couple-day-old food that you haven't tossed out, babe. And that grosses you out. You look at the laundry that you haven't folded in a week. You're having stress dreams about it. And you kind of feel grossed out about it. You know what I mean? It starts to feel gross. It starts to feel gross. And it's not going to go from one day to the next. You're not going to wake up and feel gross and be like, I need to take a shower. I wish. I wish. It's going to feel gross for a while. You're going to feel disgusted with yourself for a while. You're going to be sitting in your own for a while. You're going to be a dirty, poopy baby. You're going to be a dirty, poopy baby. It's going to be gross. You're going to get a rash. It's going to hurt. But eventually, that dirty, poopy diaper is going to be enough. It's 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 going to be enough. And you're going to need a shower. And you're going to need a cleansing. And you're going to need to wipe all that gunk off of you. And that shower is going to feel so refreshing and so good and so clean. But it's what you do with it afterwards. And we're not going to talk about that. We're not even going to get into that. We're not even going to process that. Girl, forget I even said that. But that shower, girl, that's what we're aiming for. Okay? Because right now, I'm looking at my car. And it's gross. Okay? I'm looking at the fact that I only read half the book. And I'm okay with that. Because I'm going to be honest with you. That was circumstantial. I really was trying to read the book. But I'm looking at my aura. I'm looking at my vibe. Let's get hippy dippy for a second. I'm looking at my environment. I'm looking at what I feel. It feels blue. It feels blue. It literally feels blue. My vibrations that I'm putting out and receiving are so low that it's like, I can feel that I'm so blue. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm blue and what's around me is blue. So all I see is blue. You know what I mean? So I thought about it and I was like, what am I going to do to change the point of view? And I started thinking about the fact that my point of view is literally changing in front of me, regardless of what I choose to do to change the point of view. My job is changing. I'm going to school now. And I could just let that happen and inch towards it. Or, girl, I could dive in and take advantage of this whole experience. So, for starters, I decided we're going to start changing the genre. I've been reading a lot of self-help books, and yes, girl, help me. I can take all, help me. I can use all the help more than the most. Okay? Agreed. But once I started reading these books that like school was needing of me to read, I started to see that I'm pretentious. We all know this. I like to think about the things that need to be thought of outside of our regular necessities. I'm pretentious as heck. So I figured I would itch my little pretentious brain and start challenging it because I think I can think. So let's put it up against the people that can think. I got Sophie's World, a novel about the history of philosophy. Girl, you think you can think? Let's see what the philosophers think. And I was like, ooh, that sounds exciting. So I got really excited about reading philosophy. And I was like, okay, spark. Yes, queen. I've been getting into my stitching again. I like got really into it and then I fell out of it. No. I have not been doing Italian, my guitar lessons, or dance. I didn't even say that I was going to still try to do those things. I am. I haven't been going to the gym. I haven't been walking Camden, but time to get my tuchus in gear, babe. I haven't been doing the things. I've been doing the things when I can, but I haven't been implementing them. Like, I feel like I've been so, like, writing it out that, like, we gotta put a little gas in my tank. I don't know, babe. I'm feeling optimistic. I feel like we've been talking about this for months. I feel like it's been a year. But my hopes for this upcoming month. My hopes are going to be small and simple. I hope that I transition into this new job well. I hope that I can keep up with school. Right now, I'm like trying to do my week's worth of homework in like a day and a half or like 2 days, just so that I stay ahead of it so I don't get behind. I feel like with coming down to like 2 part-time jobs, it'll give me more free time because I should be working less hours. That should really help me with like balancing out school. I also hope that with that free time, I start exercising more, and I hope I like can figure out a schedule so that I am on a routine. That is my goal for next month. I feel like if I can do that, this wave that I feel like potentially coming, I feel like it can be a good one. I want to plan out a trip to LA. I want to go see my friend, and I want to go tan, and I want to go be in the sun and be in the pool and just get away for a little bit, for a weekend. I think that would be really fun, and I think that would be really good for me. Potentially not this month, maybe next month. And you're gonna die. Remember how I said I wanted to go to a music festival last year and I didn't? I'm planning to go to the Capitol Hill Block Party. Yeah, I really think this depressive thing is not for me. I miss being happy. I really do. And like I said, girl, you're the only one in charge of what's happening in your life. I'm taking charge. At least I'm trying to, in little ways and in big ways. And at the end of the day, I come back here every month because I know I'm like making my way towards what I know to be at the end of this. You know, I know that eventually I'm going to be able to show you what all this work leads to. And no matter how much I bag on myself over the fact that I am not putting in the work I know I should, I'm trying so hard. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know I'm trying a lot harder than most people do. I know I'm putting in the work that a lot of people can't. And I'm not doing it to rub anybody's face in it or to tee hee ha ha blah 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 blah. I'm doing it to show you that it's possible. And I'm doing it to show myself that it's possible. Jeez. Do you think I could have gone to school by myself? But here we are. Um this is crazy. Yeah, no dude, this is crazy. I think I am so scared of sounding like I think I'm the rah rah. But I think what I want to like so desperately show is that doing this and the end result of what doing this feels like is the rah rah, you know? Um I like can envision little snippets of what not being in this state feels like. Even things just as simple as like getting up, having a coffee, and like sitting outside listening to music. And you could be like, you can do that now. It doesn't feel the same. Um, but I'm gonna fight my way out of this, you know? And my goal is to hopefully show somebody else how to do it. Nobody ever showed me how to do it, but that's okay. It's about sharing our experience and maybe being able to help somebody else out, you know? So, yeah, maybe you need to quit your job and start school and rah it out, babe. Imagine if today I release this and then somebody quit their job. No, don't quit your job. Make sure you have plans. Babe, I planned out for this. I didn't just quit my job. I had a job lined up and I started school. I had money saved up to do it. I didn't just get up and do this. I promise. And I talked to my therapist and my father about this. Girl, hit me up. Let's see if it's the right decision for you. Don't hit me up. I can't make the decision for you. I lied. Oh my God, please don't. What I'm saying is, maybe it's time to switch it up because sometimes that is what we need, you know? And the sun's coming out. It's not a terrible time to switch it up, you know? Let's see what happens, girl. Talk to you soon.